Have you ever noticed how different parts of your life, things that seem totally separate, actually end up feeding each other?
Oh, absolutely. Like a lesson you learn at work suddenly clicks for a family situation, or vice versa.
Exactly. It's this almost hidden connection. Well, today we're doing a deep dive into that very idea. We're drawing from a really insightful piece by Tony Feghali called Coaching and Fatherhood, a Unified Path to Growth.
Right. And our mission here is really to explore Figali's take on how coaching and being a dad, specifically as our kids become adults, aren't just running side by side. They're actually deeply intertwined. They shape us, make us better, hopefully.
And what's fascinating is that distinction he makes, isn't it?
Yeah, the idea that, coaching has courses, certifications, a kind of map.
For fatherhood.
Fatherhood is, well, it's this lifelong journey. No certificate, no final exam, especially when you're parenting adults. It's constantly evolving.
That really lands. So the key thing we're digging into is how the principles shared between these two roles fuel personal growth. And crucially, how that growth positively impacts others, especially our adult children navigating their own complex worlds.
hmm It's about that ripple effect.
So where does Fagali start with this connection? How does it unfold for him?
Well, he has this core realization, this kind of aha moment.
Okay.
He puts it really simply. Being a dad made me a better coach, and coaching a better dad.
Wow. Straight to the point.
Yeah. And for him, it wasn't just a nice thought. It was like an ongoing process. As he got better in one area, the other deepened.
Like a continuous loop.
Exactly. A loop of development. It suggests maybe the best way to really get good at one is to fully embrace the other.
That makes a lot of sense. He elaborates on that synergy, right? How does that actually look in practice?
He does. He gives examples, like the more present he learned to be with his adult kids really tuning in.
Yeah, not just physically there.
Right? Fully engaged. He found that presence carried over into his coaching sessions. Naturally.
Okay. And the other way around.
Definitely.
Oh,
The clarity he practiced with clients, helping them sort through complex issues that skill translated directly back home, it helped him in conversations with his adult children, made things, I guess, more direct, more meaningful.
so it's not just juggling roles.
No, not at all.
Oh,
It's mutual enhancement. Skills from one strengthen the other. It's dynamic.
that's a much richer way to think about it than just work-life balance. Okay, so let's unpack the first principle he identifies, listening.
Right. But he frames it as listening begins with presence.
Presence, okay. So in coaching, that means really listening to what's said.
And maybe even more, what's not said, what's being held back, as he puts it.
That's the tricky part. How does that apply to fatherhood with adult children? They might not always spell everything out.
Exactly. And that's where the skill comes in. It's learning to notice what's behind, between, and around the words.
So picking up on tone, body language, things left unsaid.
Precisely. The subtle stuff. Feghali talks about allowing for stillness in the conversation. It's not just being quiet. It's actively creating space.
And that builds trust.
He strongly believes it does. Clients feel it. Our adult children feel it. It creates this safety, this space where, as he says, the truth can land.
Their truth, and maybe ours too.
Yes. It's about offering that non-judgmental, fully present listening. No quick fixes, just being there.
Okay, so presence and deep listening lay the groundwork. What's next?
Trust. Principle 2 is growth is solid when trust is leading the way.
Trust over control. That's a big one, especially in parenting, even with adults.
It really is. He says he actively trains himself to believe in their ability to make it and walk it.
Whether it's a client or his adult child making a big life decision.
Yes. Maybe about their career or relationship. His approach is to try and be with them on their adventure, if they choose to.
If they choose to, that's key. But is it really possible to just step back and trust, especially if you see your adult kids heading towards something difficult? That parental instinct is strong.
It's incredibly strong, and that's the challenge Feghali addresses. His insight is that the most powerful shifts happen when people feel seen and trusted.
So trying to control things might actually backfire.
Often, yes. It can stifle real growth, the kind that sticks. He argues trust is where confidence gets built. That's how growth confidently happens.
Even if the path involves struggle.
Especially then, maybe. He's convinced that trust will always create more impactful outcomes than control ever could. It's about empowering them, trusting their capacity.
Shifting from I know best to I trust you to find your way and I'm here.
Exactly. It's a fundamental shift in perspective. from control to empowerment.
Okay, that flows into the next idea, right? About finding clarity.
Yes, principle 3, clarity incubated in rhythm.
Rhythm, not urgency. I like that. So a calm mind leads to better decisions.
Right. He found that clarity, both at work and at home, thrives in rhythm, moving with intention, not just reacting frantically.
That feels almost radical today, doesn't it? Everything's about speed.
It really does. But Feghali emphasizes that pausing at the right time, responding, and giving myself and the other time to think matters.
So it's not just slowing down, it's creating space.
Exactly, making space for actual thought. This shift from urgency to rhythm helped him become more thoughtful, more creative.
More present.
Definitely more present. He mentions applying it, say, in a tough conversation with an adult child. Instead of reacting instantly.
He pauses, responds with intention.
Right. Allows for that rhythm, understanding that real insight often comes from that stillness, not just constant churn.
Makes sense. Okay, principle 4 touches on consistency, doesn't it?
Yes, integrity shows up through alignment.
Action speaking louder than words.
Pretty much. He says, people remember how you show up, the tone you bring, the energy you carry, the choices you repeat.
That's a powerful reminder. Our consistency really matters, especially for adult kids who are still figuring out their own values. How does that alignment become a model?
Well, he notes that every consistent action builds a sense of self in the people around me. He hopes his own consistency helps his clients, and particularly his adult children, see that internal alignment matching words and deeds isn't automatic.
It's a skill you have to practice.
Exactly, something you cultivate. He takes it seriously as a coach, but as a father, he says he tries to live it daily.
So demonstrating integrity becomes a way of teaching it, showing his adult kids what it looks like in practice as they build their own internal compass.
That's the idea. It's about modeling that congruence.
Okay, this leads us to the 5th principle, which feels foundational.
Belief. Belief is essential to nurturing.
Right. He observes the most lasting growth I've witnessed has always started with belief. But what kind of belief is he talking about?
Good question.
Yeah.
He clarifies it's not just a vague, I believe in you, it's specific. It's belief in someone's capacity, belief in their vision, belief in who they are becoming.
Wow. So seeing past the present struggles or uncertainties.
Especially with adult children figuring things out, yes.
Yeah.
That kind of belief, he says, grounds the person across from you as they embark on their adventure.
Like an anchor.
Or a North Star, as he puts it, as they navigate the wilderness towards their goal.
Yeah.
It gives them stability and confidence, even when they doubt themselves.
And crucially, it's belief in their vision, not yours for them.
Exactly. It's faith that empowers their journey, rather than trying to steer it.
Okay, now this is where Feghali brings in that really interesting contrast, that dilemma he feels.
Yes. The difference between coaching and fatherhood in terms of mastery.
He says, I can see myself one day acing coaching, but I can never ace fatherhood. Go figure.
Right. Coaching has metrics, certifications, a sense of completion sometimes.
But fatherhood, especially with adult kids.
No diploma, no courses on acing fatherhood 101. The goalposts keep moving because they keep evolving. It never really ends.
It's a constant process. So what does he learn from that realization, that seeming impossibility of acing it?
Well, if it doesn't offer mastery in the conventional sense, what it does teach him, he finds, is invaluable.
Like what?
Things like patience, depth, and a sense of rhythm. Intangible, but profound qualities.
Things you can't put on a certificate.
Exactly. And he talks about the joy in that ongoing nature. Our joy as fathers is to know, to realize, to be aware that we continue to do our best.
So the value is in the trying, the showing up, not reaching some endpoint.
Precisely. It's a continuous journey. And he concludes that the effort, especially this unquantifiable role with adult children, leaves a legacy far beyond what can be seen.
An unseen impact.
Intangible, but powerful. Growth without a finish line.
What a journey we've taken today, really unpacking this. We've seen how Tony Feghali views coaching and fatherhood not as separate boxes, but as this ongoing dialogue.
Yeah, each enriching the other.
And through these core principles, presence, trust, that idea of rhythm, integrity, belief, they both call us to, as he says, lead with more heart, less noise, and alignment with what matters.
It really is a kind of blueprint for growth, isn't it?
Right.
Applicable in so many areas.
Absolutely. And connecting this outwards, Feghali's insights aren't just for coaches or fathers.
No, they're much broader. If you're a parent, a mentor, a leader, really anyone holding space for someone else's growth.
The core messages.
Your presence is powerful.
Yep.
That intangible effort, the belief you offer, the space you create it matters immensely. It builds that legacy he talks about beyond what we can measure.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe something to think about for you, the listener, Feghali accepts he can never truly ace fatherhood. The goal is just to continually do his best. What does that suggest about true mastery in our most important roles?
Yeah, what does doing your best really mean when there's no final grade, no finish line, when the journey is the point?
Something to mull over. We'll leave you with that thought until our next deep dive.